Well, it's a happy 3DS day to you too. I knew that the first sale I was going to today, which supposedly started at 7:30, had video games. I mean, this was a lady I had spoken to over the past year, and some person that she was related to was going to bring down a bunch of games and systems and such. And that never happened. You know, I knew there was a sale that was kind of starting a little afterwards at 8, and online it was advertised that there was a broken 3DS at this yard sale, and on the way to that first sale at 7:30 I passed the one that was supposedly starting at 8, so I decided to, swing on by, and no one was there except for the person setting up, and I was able to ask my questions. And she woke up her son, which brought out the 3DS, and I really was wanting to pay like $5, $10 max. This just goes to show you that kids really don't have value of money, and I felt like the kid I was talking with was happy to have his new 3DS, which was basically an XL model, and could care less what he got for the old one. He said 10, and I said, well, how about 8? And he said, okay. And he showed me how it didn't work, and I was looking at it, and can't really determine what's wrong with it really from looking at it right now. It looks like maybe the cartridge tray is a little bent, but the pins look, I think, okay. Either way, I'm going to have to open it up. And it didn't have a stylus, it didn't have a charger, and I asked the kid, could he find it for me? And I said I would, come back later. This was really to give me some time to go to some other sales. But yeah, I was going to go to the other sales, come back, and so that's what I did. Unfortunately, the lady, her friend, didn't bring down the stuff, so there was nothing there, and it was a bust. I went on to another yard sale. It was in a pretty good area that I find good stuff. I found like a Conker's Bad Fur Day on some awesome Ninja Turtle cookie cutters, like brand new, and found some Super Nintendo games. So anyways, went over there, spent a few minutes doing basically nothing because they actually brought out like a Game Boy Advance that was scuffed to all hell, and I was not offering anything for that. So I booked it back to the kid with the 3DS. He's like, oh no, I couldn't find the charging. I only have one cable, and there was no stylus. So then his mom chimed in, was like, so you owe him a refund? And I was like, really wasn't going to disagree there. I mean, even for $8 without a charger and a stylus, that was a hell of a deal. And she's like, well, how about half? Like, she said to the son, like, how about give him half his money back? So I got this 3DS, literally $4, and everything works fine. I mean, it's in actually pretty sharp. I mean, there's some smudges and stuff, but that can be easily cleaned. The next sale I went to, it seemed like there could be some games there, because the stuff I found, like, it was all 80s things. And I knew I was grabbing them. I had no clue what the value of these were, but I paid $3 for everything I'm about to list here. And this thing is like, I don't know if you ever heard of the cartoon The Paw Paw Bears, but this thing is pretty much mint with tags. I mean, not mint, I had to clean it up a bit, but yeah, I don't know who this is, but I know that there's a cartoon show from the 80s that someone might want. I saw this Popples, Rainbow Popples. I love Felix the Cat, as you know, so I bought this guy. What was really cool about this garage was there was a whole bunch of cool shit in there. There were Transformers. There was like a Game Gear manual. The lady said she had games that I wanted, but her daughter was kind of hanging on to that stuff. And they even had like a sweet ass pinball machine. Flash for a camera. But what camera? A Polaroid land camera. And I saw these things were going up in value, and I think it's because of the Instagram app, because it has that nice... Anyways, it came with that flash and this nice nifty box to carry it around in. And the battery compartment looks corroded as hell, which not a good sign, but I think I can clean that up. Alright, back again, and ready to finish off that one last sale, or one last thing from that sale. Finally, I got this. I think this was My Pet Monster. And this was released around the time like My Buddy and Teddy Ruxpin. I remember seeing a lot of advertisements for these dudes. And this guy's a little dirty, but he can be cleaned up. And I don't know if people want it, but everything there, that camera, all the plush toys, was $3. So after that, I went to a community sale, and I was thinking to myself, you know, I'd come across a stylus and a charger eventually. I've never seen the charger for the 3DS, and I only learned that it was the same charger as the DSi recently, so I kept my eye open, and I was asking about games, and the girl brought out I guess that's periwinkle, so light blue DSi and charger, which can obviously be used now on my brand new 3DS. And then I can sell the DSi charge. And, you know, the mother was like, and the grandparents obviously were helping the kid out, but they were like really chafing my game, you know, like holding me back, because she brought out a DS, like cobalt blue, but there was actually another kid who like pulled up right behind me. And this was actually the kid I bought my Genesis from almost 2 years ago now. And I knew he probably went around the yard sales. I just never saw him, and maybe he's just getting back in the game. He actually ended up buying the DS Lite for $5. And I was trying to convince the lady that, you know, this was $10 was a good price for this, but she wanted 12. I was saying, you know, that's twice the price of the other one. And the thing is, I kind of shot myself in the foot when I said I wanted this one, because I said it took pictures. So yeah, I mean, and then she used that against me later on when I was like, well, that one shoots pictures. Still same community sale. There was like 2 girls, and one being really young and one being, you know, teenager-ish, and like a grandmother, I think. And I asked them if they had any games, and she brought out a 3DS game, and then she said, do you want anything else? And I was like, do you have any extra stylus? Because obviously I don't have a stylus for this. And she says, wait a second. She brought out she had like a 2-pack of stylus. One was already taken out, and then another one happened to be black, like this new black 3DS. Total for the stylus and the Mario 3DS, $4. I actually was trying to get 3, and the little girl agreed to it, but the older sister wanted to, you know, get the sister some more money. I went to this estate sale, and you know, there's several kinds of estate sales. One where it's kind of like wandering through someone's house, and I think it was abandoned. They just, you know, left. Other times you feel like, did people die here? And other times it's just someone like moving out, and they, you know, hire a company to sell all their shit. This felt like this place was abandoned, and it was really nasty. There was like everything was kind of torn up, like confetti in the rooms, and eventually I learned that it was due to rats. I went in the back room, and there were like sheets on the ground, and I was moving the sheets, and I kid you not, like this pillow with dried blood kind of caked all over it, rolled out, and I was just like, oh, done here. The kids that were selling, I mean, they were like in their, I don't know, it looked like they were in their 30s or 40. I mean, it looked like they were young, man. It looked like they were in their 30s. It was their father. He had a heart attack, and he's like, veins ruptured, and apparently, I'm thinking he coughed up blood, but they said like, you know, they didn't really specify how the blood ended up on the stuff, but the guy apologized, and I was like, no need to. I mean, whatever. But I ended up finding some stuff there, though. I I kept some of it in a bag here, but because I was thinking about the 3DS when I came across, because I didn't know whether or not I needed to replace, like I said, the card slot, which means I would have to learn how to solder and do all that shit. And I found some flux, and I'm not showing this off very well because I'm pretty sure this is solder has lead in it, and I don't really want to touch it too much, so I'm keeping it in this bag. And I found solder, and I found, I think this is used for desoldering stuff. So, yes. Anyways, found that. And, oh, one last thing I found. I didn't realize how good condition it was. Literally, nothing was in there. I mean, there were some toys from the 80s. There were some Wuzzles. It was a cartoon on Disney. But in the midst of that, I found a copy of Super Mario Land, which I've only played on an emulator, so never beat it. Played a couple levels, and obviously it doesn't really feel like Mario too much. But yeah, anyways, that was it. And I went to home to drop off all that shit, and there was another sale that started at like 9, and it was the guy who normally sells like storage lots. I didn't say before, but funny thing was when I bought the DSi, this one, and there was another kid who bought the DS Lite, and like I said, he sold me the Genesis. He actually had a yard sale, like I said, almost 2 years ago. At that yard sale, he was selling Vectrex and several Game Boys, Advances, Genesis, a box Super Nintendo, cell phones. I mean, I felt like the kid either had done this going around the yard sales himself, and basically he said, "Hey, do you like Sega?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he showed me to his trunk of his car, and he showed me that he had a Sega Master System and a Wii. And funny thing was, I'm pretty sure I saw that Sega Master System. And I'm pretty sure it was the same one that the yard sale, the guy who sells storage lots, who was trying to sell it to me for $90, and it had like a bunch of shit games in there, like a bunch of sports games. It was the Model 1 Master System, which, I mean, it's like a $60 system, but I'm at a yard sale. And the only good game in there that I kind of wanted was Quartet, but obviously he wanted to sell it to me everything, so it just shows me that I might have some more damn competition in this town. So anyways, I headed out to that guy who sold the storage lots, and I knew he closed at 2, and it was like 12ish now, maybe almost 12, 11 something. And yeah, he was closing up shop. I saw him like putting stuff out on the curb, and he said, "No, he didn't have that much this time." And I told him about the kid who tried to sell me, the Master System and the Wii, and he was telling me how he just sold that. So, but I noticed he said everything on the curb was free. So, all aboard the nerd. Nerds ahoy. We have some board games. Pretty nerdy board games. Nerdy board games. Something called Wizard's Quest. For all I know, it's complete. Looks like it has a bunch of pieces. Has a picture of Neuschwanstein on the front. That's the castle. People are going to hate me for this, if you're a real big nerd. Another copy of Heroes Quest. How freaking awesome is that? I haven't checked this thing yet, but it feels like it has a lot of pieces in there. And the guy was chucking it to the curb. I don't know, he sells video game systems. I'm headed down to the thrift stores next after going back to my place to drop off all that stuff, because obviously I couldn't carry that with me. I really don't want to get that, but I went to stopped along the yard sale, and a lady had like a bunch of stuff And I was about to leave after asking the questions, and I got a plank of wood and a bunch of candle holders, around 6 of these guys. Had an idea to kind of prop things up on my, because I have some deep shelves where I could pretty much stack 2 layers of DVDs, CDs, etc. And I'm gonna kind of cut a board and put it in there and prop them up with these, maybe paste them to the bottom so I can kind of see the back row. And she said I could just have it, so whatever. That was free. Free's good. Oh yeah, all that stuff from the estate sale was free too, like the solder, the the copper desoldering, the flux, the Mario, everything was finally at the thrift store. Amazingly enough, I mean, you guys don't know this, but I've been looking for this game for a long time. I played it a long time ago. It's a kind of cutie puzzle kind of game, where you rotate the room and try to align this character with certain targets. I can't remember what the game. There's a similar game, but basically each level, after you beat each level, it forms like a star in a constellation, and it seemed kind of cool. It was $2, but the store was having a 50% off sale, so it ended up being $1. Pretty darn sweet. I don't think I spent a lot of money this weekend. 4, 3, 1, $8. I'm probably, no, that was 3, maybe 11. Either way, that's pretty sweet. So get out there and get hunting.